Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. I am Sophia with Garden State Film Festival, and it is going to be a great interview. We have the musicians behind the making of this hit song, one of the music winners in Garden State Film Festival, Back to 1964. I will have you guys introduce yourselves. Let's start off with you, Philip.
Hi, Sophia. My name is Philip Kakura.
Thank you.
And I am James Cerabello.
Well, thank you, Philip and James, for joining us today. Congratulations, you guys were the movie music competition winners, the best retro song. How do you guys feel?
Well, Philip, you answer first since you're the writer.
Well, it feels fantastic. I mean, playing music for 60 years, and together, as a matter of fact, and to win at a festival like Garden State, very fulfilling as an artist, and we are so honored.
James, how you feeling?
Well, it's a wonderful feeling of validation and recognition after all these years. I mean, as Philip said, we've been doing it forever. Mm-hmm. And to get to this point where other people enjoy what we're doing is very satisfying.
Right. It is wonderful validation, but you guys have been validated many times. You've won over 17 awards. This is your third win at Garden State Film Festival. It's crazy. It's so amazing. What would you guys say is the key to the band's success? What keeps you guys going since the 1960s, continuing to make music?
Well, we literally love each other. I mean, we're like brothers, and many years can go by or another, whether it be sickness or whatever, and you don't get the chance to stay in touch. You could pick up the phone, like I was explaining before, and say, "Hey, Jim, it's Phil. Do you want to sing on a song? I'll get together." And everything just happens, and it just gets put together. Out of love, respect, friendship, and we have that between them. Of course, my daughter is young, but she has the same passion with me, and that's the truth. That's basically it.
James, would you agree that key is the love and respect you guys have for each other?
It's amazing to me how much time had gone by before Phil called me to ask me to sing on that first music video. As he said, we had almost completely lost touch, and we were almost related since we were little because we lived around the block from each other in Brooklyn. Which goes back to our film, old days, where we revisit everything. And the idea that we're still doing it and we're still able to get together and simply sit down, record the song, and then all this success began.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So before we talk about this song specifically, Back to 1964, I would love to talk about how the band first came together in the 1960s. Who was a part of the band, and how did you guys create the Atomic Age project?
Jim, you got to start this because this is a funny.
Before we actually put a band together, we decided to take photos of the band that would be, and we needed guitars. So Phil had 3 guitars. We invited him to come over, and we dressed accordingly. Everybody had like the Dave Clark 5, a sport jacket, and what we called a dickie. And the dickie was like a turtleneck. We all had our blue dickies, and Phil showed up with his red dickie, which from that day on made him the leader. It just was, it's a remarkable picture. I should have brought it with me to show, but Yeah, so that's how it began. Before there was a band, there were photos and dreams,
Oh,
and
wow.
it's it's continued since.
That is manifestation at its highest.
Yeah.
So did you wear the red dickie on purpose, Philip? Were you like, I need to be the leader of this band?
You want to laugh? I didn't even at that point. Literally, I just showed up with a guitar. That's after we saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. I didn't even know how to play it, and I
None of
had
us
my
really
red
knew
dickie
anything.
on, and they ended up finally kicking me out of the band because
Wow. That is just amazing. So the Beatles were the inspiration in 1960s. Do you find that the inspiration has changed throughout the years, or is it still the Beatles?
now if you listen to Beatles music, literally touch you in some form or another in
Mm,
your life. So there's a lot of years in front of you where you'll see a lot of the material when they were in their 20s was so, in the future, so many people,
yeah.
hence the success of the band.
Wow. And James, do you find inspiration from anywhere else, or is the Beatles also it for you?
I'm inspired by almost everything. The Beatles, of course, started it all off sitting in front of a little TV. Most people don't understand the idea of a living room with one TV set where the whole family would sit down and watch the same program. So when the Beatles came on, it transformed the world. And it sounds like an exaggeration, but in effect, it really did start so many people their involvement and their interest in music.
Mm.
Most of my friends and Phil's collectively all relate to that one moment where they thought, this is about us.
Wow. Philip, you are the writer, producer, lead guitarist of every song of the writer and producer of every song
Yes.
that's congratulations. Tell me about
Oh, thank you.
writing back to 1964.
I mean, 1964, like I was saying, really in our hearts. That those 60s was so pivotal music life. So everything, not only music, there was something going on at that particular point in time with civil rights and the assassination, unfortunately, the previous year of JFK was really still in mourning. So it was a really very uh, exciting time, but it was also a sad time as well. But it's in my soul and it's in my heart, and I felt that the words of the song, and we're very proud of the song, excited after it's all finished, and I bring everybody back up to my house where my studio, the final cut after it comes back from Abbey Road being mastered, and pretty much.
That is amazing. And so James mentioned a little bit earlier that did Philip called you up and said, "Can you sing on this song?" Is that how you got onto back to 1964?
No,
Well,
it's
well,
matter of
that
fact,
yeah,
yeah.
that song was a culmination. I mean, we've been doing this for how many years now, Phil? 10 years together with this particular project?
Like to 20 years.
Yeah, time
Yeah.
has no significance anymore, by the way.
All
The
just
fact
blends
that we're
together.
still here is enough. And unfortunately, we've dealt with the loss, and a lot of our music prior to this song dealt with the loss and um, how we end up. Sorry, somebody's calling.
It's
How
popular
we
man.
how
He
we
is.
deal with things, and Phil manages to put it in musical form, and I guess when he writes, he thinks of how I'd interpret it and sing it, and so the partnership is complete. And, we just work so well together. We could do it instantly.
Wow. So could we talk about some of the other band members that were a part of singing Back to 1964? Who else was involved on this track?
Well,
Phil?
our friend, Jimmy and I's friend, Ali, he's a keyboard player. He's also been a close friend in the 70s. And he actually played in an early band with rock band. And he works together perfectly. And my daughter has a really beautiful voice, and she sings she really melds together with Jimmy's voice really beautifully. And it's a blessing, to tell you the truth.
Amazing. Yeah, I could just feel that love when you're just talking about them. And if it cut out at all, shout out to Lou and Christina, who are part of the band as well. So what is it like? Do you guys have a lot of rehearsals? Before you recording the final cut of Back to 1964, how long does it take before you first hear the song? And
it's
then
embarrassing, Sophia. It's really embarrassing to say it's instantaneous. I mean,
oh, really?
Literally, I listen to what Phil puts down, and it just reverberates, and I know exactly what he's looking for, and he knows exactly what I'm going to sing, and it works perfectly. I hate to say, I mean, when you think about all the bands we've been in so many. The amount of rehearsal, sometimes we rehearsed for years and never got to this point. This is something very special, and I'm very grateful for it. And I'm grateful for Phil and his genius, and he's just a remarkable human being when it comes to being able to do what we do.
Wow. And would you agree with that, Phil? You're writing something and you hear it in your head, and then you guys instantaneously just like they pick it up and it's there.
I'll do a demo of basically me playing, and I do a guide vocal with the way me to phrase it. That's all that needs to be done. We never rehearse that, and he says, "Okay, I'm ready." We make an appointment, and we record each person separately. Everybody is done separately, and over track average, it's about 100 tracks per song, because most of the stuff bass and Louis comes in and does his keyboards, my orchestrations, and then at the end result, I leave the vocals for the last part and knocks it out.
So how did you guys feel when you first heard after everyone's recording separately and it all comes together and you first hear Back to 1964 for the first time? How do you feel? Did you know it was going to be a hit? Did you know you were like, this is a winning song?
Well, every time Phil writes something, I think it's a winning song. I mean, he really puts things in a format that you immediately relate to and can not even get it out of your head once you've heard it. And I think that's one of the things that made this song so successful, is that he writes the way you remember. You remember things when he writes a song, and he knows how I feel about him.
Philip, what are you hoping audiences get when they listen to Back to 1964?
Well, I hope that any song that we do in some way, that they can connect with it, and like I was saying before, it affects you. And I try to write where things affect people and take with them to make them feel good, or maybe remember the people that maybe passed in their lives, because most of my songs really are about the good things in life, and also the losses in life. And what really makes people listen to the words, where I think today's music seen that in a lot of ways, where it's basically just a beat or a feel. The days of the 60s and the 70s, where it's Simon and Garfunkel and the Beatles and Artie, wanted to hear the words of the song because they meant something, and one way or another. And that's really the bottom line.
I think also, Sophia, also the bottom line that he's leaving out is his songs make you feel good. I mean, every time he writes a song, you feel good, and I think that's real important. And a lot of what's missing today is that feel good part of the song that people just seem too angry lately. You know,
I totally agree. Yeah. Most of my Spotify playlist is songs from the 1960s, honestly.
Yeah.
And yeah. And how can we get back to 1964? Is it available? Can people download it?
Well, it's on Spotify. It's on Apple Music. It's all on the digital platforms. So if you listen to Spotify music.
All right. So me and everyone who's watching, download it on Spotify or whatever platform you have. Before we hop off, unfortunately, I have to wrap this interview up, but I can talk to you guys all day. I would love to hear how it feels to come back to Garden State Film Festival. You've been here before. You know, you're a lover of the festival. So tell me, what do you guys love about Garden State Film Festival?
Well, do I have a minute? I wrote something. Do I say it?
Really? Yeah. We have a minute to talk great about Garden State Film Festival.
Okay. The song starts with inspiration and a dream. It proceeds to add the talents and hard work of Jane Talley, my daughter Christina Dempsey, and myself to make the dream a reality. Position of music and words that hopefully will resonate with listeners. The ultimate dream song award at a prestigious film festival like Garden State. Thank you, Diane, and everybody there in the interview for this great honor and for dream. You're never too old to create. So thank you.
I love that. I love that. I'm going to get emotional. So let's, I'm an emotional person, but that was beautiful. Thank you so much, Philip. Thank you, James. Guys, congratulations on the song and all the wonderful years of your work. I hope you continue to make music and of course, come to Garden State Film Festival. You both will be there this year, right?
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah. I hope to see you guys there. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you guys again, and we'll see you at the film festival.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.